Woohoo!
Ah,
Hello, well, hi. You go ahead. You start. George.
hi, Connor.
Hi, George.
So why we are
We're
here today? We
we're yeah, go
I
ahead.
I had a thought. I had a great idea to talk about burnout and how access bars can support you with burnout. I've seen some of your entries or videos on LinkedIn where you talked about battling burnout and so on. And yeah, with this topic, I'm also familiar, and my thought was just connect with you and yeah, make a weird conversation out of it.
I like it. I like weird conversations, and I like having weird conversations with you. George, where are you in the world?
I'm in Austria, in from Villach, from the southern part of
Gosh.
Austria to the Italian border.
Uh-huh. I love
Uh,
it. I know that you're not in Germany, but I love Austria. I was watching a show on Netflix of a finishing school, and this Asian girl is telling people how to pronounce German words. And she's like, German is the language that is like BDSM sex. It's like you have to feel like you're spanking a person when you say it.
it's
So,
me.
yes, yes, exactly.
But it's funny. We had a lot of contact with access guys all over the world, and every time when we were asked, or I and my wife were asked, "Where are you from?" Yeah, Austria. Wow, beautiful Australia, the beach, Sydney. Wow. I said, no,
Are
no,
you?
it's Austria. It's Mozart, not kangaroo.
Oh my God, that is too funny. Oh my God, I'm glad you say Mozart rather than, affiliating it with Hitler. But hey, that's good.
Yeah, it's not only Mozart, it's also Adolf's birth city
Adios.
or
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. Everybody still thinks Austria is Australia. Too
yeah.
good. So tell me about burnout. What do you know about it?
Just give you or the listeners, the viewers, an overview or an rough, yeah, let's say it overview. Uh, I dealt with burnout or with the information that I am fully burnt out, and yeah, it was at the beginning. It was terrible. It was it was fucking shit. But it was because I bought in this reality what burnout means and what you're allowed to do and what you have and what you can't do anymore and so on. So the issue was some years back, for me, my employment was everything. It was priority one. Then there was a huge break in between. There was nothing, and then it comes my family or I or my daughter or whatever. So working was priority one, which is not wrong or bad or whatever, also not good. It was different, and so I had the vacation what I have, the annual vacation or some sick leaves, but company was or the work was always in my head. So I had my mobile, I had my laptop, I checking my emails, did some conversations, some calls, some meetings in my holiday, in my sick leave, whenever. And then I've had some contact with some guys who also diagnosed with burnout years before. And I said, it's I fully bought the lie of this reality and said, okay, burnout, then you're a weak person if you allow yourself that you can't handle anything anymore. You're weak. And I think that was the thing I told myself. I'm not weak. I'm not wrong. I will do it as long as I can, and if I can't do it, I will still do it. And yeah, and then I looked the total situation from another point where I said, okay, it's not wrong. You're not weak. You're just in a situation. where it's difficult at the moment to collect your thoughts, to just have a clear mind and know what you want to do and know what you did 5 minutes back. and and then I found, or for me, it was really late. I know the access tools and I know the access bars for several years now, but I was not, I wasn't skeptic, but I totally forgot about it. So for me, in the first weeks of my long-term sick leave, still the office, the company was my priority one. So my thoughts were still at work. I can't go in there or switch the thing in my brain to just try to relax and calm down. So I totally put away the access bars, which was now the worst decision I've ever made, I think. And and
Could
month
be.
yeah, could be. And several months later, it made just so clack in my brain, and I said we had a lot of this of communications with access bars and what they can do and what people achieved with the bars and so on. But for me, it wasn't the right time, and I wasn't able to really hear it. And then it made click, and I said to my wife, let's try, let's run my bars for the next couple of days, weeks, minimum once a day, if possible, 10 times a day. And then I really felt this relaxation, and just it's like switching off the brain, or at least the thoughts, the loudness of the brain, that you aren't good, that you are weak, that you made something wrong, that you didn't make something right or whatever. And
And
that,
and
yeah,
your wife has been running your bars every day.
yeah,
Oh, your fucking wife is awesome.
yeah. She is.
She's amazing. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, we also skipped. So I also run her bars. This was really awesome. So at that time, we also discussed about starting a challenge, 100 days bars, access bars challenge, where everyone runs your bars every day for 100 days and just see what changes you will see.
What did people see?
I haven't had the chance to get a lot of comments back or a lot of information back, but it was awesome. It was the total life. It sounds so weird. It sounds, yeah, you're just online and making some advertising for your business or whatever, or for some product, but it is life changing. It is mind changing. So you're a totally different person just by running your or someone's bars.
Yeah.
And
And I
that's
want to
not,
point and I want to point something out. Like you said before, and you've been talking about with burnout. One of the things with access consciousness, and access consciousness is where the bars come from, or access consciousness comes from the bars. I don't know, it's like the chicken and the egg. Um, is that you is to be in question. And what I see people doing with burnout is they're no longer in question. They immediately go to the conclusion of their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. It's just a giant ball of conclusion. And what does conclusion do? It's not really a problem other than it's like you talked about, like you didn't change your job situation and you made job number one and all this stuff because you didn't want to quit and so on and so forth. And we have all this energy around, there's a lot of stubborn people and very strong. And when I say strong, I mean strong-willed, potent, powerful people that are not giving up on their job, quote unquote, not quitting because they've decided that quitting is giving up, and vice versa, without the actual acknowledgement of what true quitting is. And the reality is, you only actually quit anything when you come to conclusion.
yeah.
So for all of you out there in the world that are either choosing burnout or about to choose burnout or will choose burnout in the future, or think you might choose burnout or did do it in the past, how much of all that burnout was just a giant ball of conclusion. And notice when I say conclusion, I'm a word person. I like to know definitions. And conclusion starts with con, kind of like my name, Connor, but it's not the same. Connor is actually a German name. It comes from it's Germanic, or maybe it's Irish. No, it's Irish. I'm crazy.
Irish.
Why did
Yeah.
I? It's Irish. It's Irish meaning animal lover, kind of. Um, I say German because Germans love dogs, and Connor is like an Irish thing for like this. The original first ever Connor was like a king that liked dogs or something. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Um, but you look at the word like concrete, and that's what a conclusion, concrete conclusion is pretty much like that's the energetic description of conclusion is it's pretty much like concrete. You solidify when you come to conclusion about your business, about your life. And like you said, if you're making business priority number one, you've already come to conclusion that that's what you need to be or do to take care of your kids or take care of yourself or take care of your wife or somebody else just told you. I mean, not that companies, not that governments, not that anybody else really likes you to give up everything you be and everything about your family and all of your priorities for them so they can have absolute and total control over you. Not that that's the truth, except for maybe it is that the moment you come to conclusion, everything just solidifies and stops. And in that moment, you have given up. So everything for all of you out in the world that doesn't allow you to, let's say, be aware of the conclusions that you've come to that either allow yourself to be burned out or bring you to burnout or are what creating the burnout. Now I'm going to do something called the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And if you want more information on it, please go to theclearingstatement.com and we'll just say all that stuff that allows you to be in conclusion, that allows you to come to conclusion, all of it, will you destroy and uncreate it? And when I say destroy and uncreate, it's like everywhere you create it, you're going to uncreate it, you're going to undo it and destroy it. You're going to like, just like a sand castle. You built up a sand castle. It's not a very cool sand castle. Let's throw a bunch of water on it or just like let go of it. Like let go of the fact that that's the way things need to be. You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to like buy anything of what I'm saying. You just have to let go of what you're choosing right now. And then when you say yes to that, I'm going to just say the clearing statement, which is right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nine shorts, boys, puppets, and beyonds. That's a whole bunch of stuff that has to do with everything you've made right about coming to conclusion, especially with burnout, everything you've made wrong about coming to conclusion, everything you've made wrong about being burnt out, everything you've made right about being burnt out, everything you've made wrong about, getting fired or quitting or retiring, everything you've made right about quitting or retiring, all this stuff, because we have, even if we don't acknowledge it, we've got thousands and thousands and thousands. Well, I could ask you a question. How many freaking points of views do you have about burnout? All of those, will you destroy? Will you let them all go now?
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, talk about all night shorts, boys, pull beds and beyonds. Okay, cool. I had to do that with some of our watchers, some of our listeners. And how you feeling now, George? How things going? Where are
Awesome.
you at where are you at?
Let me add something just to
Yeah.
your explanation with conclusion and concrete.
Yeah.
Also for our German listeners, it's similar in German. In the conclusion is Schlussfolgerung, and Schluss means end, the end.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's better. It's a better example than in English, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. It is the end. And
Yeah, it's the end.
that's this is the end. Our only friend, the end. This is the end.
Yeah, but that's something. The clearing statement, yeah, you mentioned it. Just check out the clearingstatement.com and just bringing up the energy. You have to be totally honest with yourself. So judgment is one point that won't bring you any further, neither with you nor with your employment, with your company, with the office, with people there, whatever. So judging you, judging yourself, or judging anyone other won't be the solution where you are currently. You need to be 100% honest to yourself. What's going on in your space, in your reality, and then check what's the energy there, what's the energy been underneath. And I did this, but not from the beginning on. For me it was uh first of all, I judged myself. I extremely judged myself in this situation. Why I am in this situation and why it's not a question. And the next thing is who made me coming in this situation? Whom can I blame beside me? And that's something where you just dig your hole of conclusion just deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're suffering with everything in this hole. And that's something what I want to just let you know about this, and that you are aware of it, because it's easy to come in this conclusion and come in this and dig this hole for you, but it's
Hold. I have to
not
stop you.
something
Is
that
it really easy?
I made it easy. Correct.
Is it
I made it.
actually easier?
It's way easier to be honest to yourself and ask questions in
Mm.
every situation. That's absolutely true. That's fucking yeah, Connor, you're right.
I'm so right.
Yeah, in this,
But
but in this situation, you're like the horses. You are, how is it called in the English word? The
the blinders.
the blinders. Thank you. You have the
Yeah.
blinders on, and you can't see your surrounding. You can't see anything. You also can't see people who will support you and try to help you. And that's why it's easy to just suffer and blame you or anyone. Then the real easy, okay, what's right about this situation I'm not getting, for instance. And that's something what can really shorten your, I don't want to say your sick leave time, but it can shorten the process where you are with your burnout. Just be aware and ask the question, and try to feel the energy. What's right about this situation? What I'm not getting. Anything to add, Connor?
Well, it's like people aren't really gonna like me when I say this, other than the fact that burnout it's not real. It's just not real. And really the best way for you to even quote unquote come out of burnout is to acknowledge it's not real.
Yeah,
It's not true. It's a lie.
it's a fucking lie.
Um, it's a fucking lie that you're telling yourself. It's a whole bunch of shisa. It's and I could talk about why people choose it and so on and so forth, but it doesn't really matter. It's like the real question anybody that thinks they're in burnout right now should be asking themselves is, what do I really want to create?
Yeah.
I could ask everybody watching this right now, even if you're not in burnout, what do you really want to create? It's your life, you're living. What the fuck do you want to create? I'm in Dubai. It's cool here. And people will judge. It's like I used to like really, like buy people's judgments as real and be all upset about it and like think that if I don't know, try and get people to like not judge me. But whatever, that's the only thing that's like slowing me down rather than going, I'm in Dubai. This is cool. I'm so glad I'm not somewhere where it's cold. I spent the morning at the beach. This is awesome. So, it's like And people will judge based on not even again based on a bunch of shit about what they can and cannot have, rather than looking at and asking themselves the question, what do I really want to create? What would I like to have as my life and living? And that's really truly the only, like, one, acknowledging that burnout isn't real, and two, what the fuck would I actually like to create as my life and living, are really the only things that are going to get you out of burnout. And the other part is access consciousness is going to be very fast, because that's just kind of like the surface. And as George said here, access bars, big time, big time, big time access bars. And the access consciousness tools, and the reason I'm a certified facilitator, is it's the best and fastest and easiest way I've seen to create your life. Like when I first became a certified facilitator, I remember it. It was so great. In 2014, I became a certified facilitator of access consciousness. And I don't remember what my question was. And so if you've never even, when we talk about access consciousness, there are some, when you go to a foundation class even, and more advanced quote unquote classes from there, not necessarily, doesn't necessarily mean the people are advanced, just means you've done other classes. When you've gone to an access foundation or a choice for possibilities, the classes themselves are built on the questions. There's no rhetoric. It's not a normal class. You don't go and have someone like teaching you stuff. It's really, you show up and you go, hey, what questions do you all have about anything that you've got going on? And that's how the class is really goes. And I was asking this question. I don't remember what the question was, but at the end of it, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, goes, welcome to the big kid sandbox. Because I was really asking, I don't remember exactly what, but I was asking a question about how to create my life, like what I really wanted to have as my life and living, which involved a lot of doing, not as much being, but that's a bigger conversation for later, like how I could, the doing, like what I did for a job, and like skydiving and snowboarding, all this doing stuff. And he was like, welcome to the big kid sandbox. And I didn't get it at the beginning, but as I'm here with George now, it's still one of my favorite things. And it's still something that it's a point of view that fuels me, so to speak, is I like playing and I like sandboxes. I was a big fan of sandboxes when I was a little kid. And the sandbox was, not very big when you're a little kid. But now my sandbox is like the whole fucking planet. How the fuck does it get any better than that? So I guess I can ask a question of all of you. How fucking big would you like your fucking sandbox to be that you haven't acknowledged? And how much is your burnout from the unacknowledgement of how big your sandbox actually is? And you've been trying to put yourself in the sandbox of this reality, and the sandbox that is the size of the sandbox of the company you're working for, or your manager, or your boss, or everybody else you work with. And it's just too fucking tiny. Everything that is. And I'm moving my hands because we also deal with something called energy, as George was talking about previously, like the energy, the energy, the energy. And so if you're like, I don't know what's going on, watch this again, because all the energy you all have with not acknowledging how big you would like your sandbox to be, and how big you are actually capable of having your sandbox be. And if you're still like, what the fuck are you talking about sandbox? It's like sand castles. It's like the space you get to play in and build sand castles and like crush the sand castle when you're done and like drive little tractors around if you want to do that. Or if there's like another kid over there and you're like, oh, that's a cute little kid, I'm gonna go talk to that kid. And then they pinch you and you're like, ow, I don't want to play with you anymore. And like just playing with whoever's in the sandbox. Everything that does allow that to show up for all of you, for fuck's sake. Times Godzilla destroyed and created it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Rocket Bad, Public Right, Shorts, Boys, Players, and Beyonds. This is awesome, George. Thanks for coming on and being with me.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, we can talk for hours, so we will have a bunch of topics where we can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
For
nice
all of you out
definition.
there, yeah. So for all of you out there in the world that would like to hear more from me and George, send us a message. We might
Yeah.
be doing more of these coming soon. You can get a hold of me at connorjhill.com or message me here in LinkedIn if you're watching it there, or in Telegram at Connor Hill or something like that. George, if people want to get a hold of you to talk about bars and get their bars run, how do they do that?
They can find me with my name, Georg Musiakevich, George Musiakevich, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever.
And so for those of you that are not hysterically combined, hysterically, what the heck is it? Inclined. That's the word I'm looking for. Hysterically inclined. And what the hell did Connor just say? Austeric is Austrian, not Deutsch. Austrian, the Austrian language. I don't know how I said. What the heck did you just say, George? I don't know. It's like when you said your name, I was like, what is that like? What? So it's George. For those that are like American from Texas, it's George Musia
Kevich.
Hewitt. It's kind of like it looks Polish.
Yeah, it was the former UdSSR.
Ah, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
I love my Polish people. I'm from Chicago. I grew up in Chicago. Tons of Poles in Chicago.
Really?
Oh yeah, tons and tons.
Okay. Yeah,
There
my
was
my
actually
my father just made it to Villach.
okay. He's like, I'm getting out, and all these other people somehow found it all the way to the United States. Yeah, when I was in high school, I went to this. Somehow found myself, as I did when I was in high school, found myself a really big house party, not in my normal neighborhood, really far away from home. And freaking like 15 minutes after we got there, like the police came into the house, and it's the United States, so you can't drink until you're 21, unlike Germany where, you know, 16, whatever. So everybody there is like 17, 18, and nobody's allowed to drink, and lots of people are drinking and probably doing other things they're not supposed to be doing. And so the police, there were tons of police. They lined us all up in a big line. And one of my friends from school, she was Polish, and Renata Shisheshin, I can't say her last name. I shouldn't even be saying her name out loud. Oh, well, there's probably like 1,000 Renata Shisheshins anyway. And she started speaking Polish with one of the police officers that was Polish, and he got so excited. I think he was also like, like a top police officer. He pretty much just let all of us go because she spoke Polish. I was
Awesome.
like, Polish connection. This is great. He was just like not everybody at the party, just like her and anybody else she knew, which is like 10 of
Yeah.
us. And I was like, Renata,
Yeah.
let me come with you. She's like, yeah, him too. Come on.
Uh, can go. You can go.
Yes,
Awesome.
exactly. Cool. All right, George, I'm gonna go hang out with my 9-month-old son
Oh,
and
great.
show
Great.
the world. Good to be with you. Good to chat with you again. Tell your wife hello. She's awesome. Two of
I
you are
will.
great.
And for our viewers right now, I will do quite a similar communication or similar discussion, similar conversation with my wife about the same topic in German or in Austrian. We are thinking about.
Yeah, cute,
And
cute.
also for the non-English speakers, there is a possibility to just get this information also.
Cool. Thank you, George. Thanks everybody
Thank you.
coming and watching, and we will see you again soon.
Hopefully, yeah, we
Ciao.
will. Bye.
Bye. If I can see anything, where's my
Too sunny.
butt?